Hi everyone, nice to see you again. Whenever I find you, my name is Eliora. I am a workshop facilitator and content creator in the field of health and wellness for the last 8 years. And today I wanted to welcome you into a very, very important topic of goal setting. How do we bring down ideas and visions for our life down into reality? Something that we all want to accomplish and we all, I'm sure, have really great ideas that you want to bring down to your everyday life. And in this setting, we're going to explore how do we do that. So, as you can see today, I'm outside. You might hear some background noises. I apologize in advance, but I hope you can hear me good. So, let's jump into it. So, the first aspect that we're going to explore is a really important concept in the world of goal setting, which is the SMART acronym. Some of you probably have heard that before, but it's a very common way to condense the idea of goal setting into something that is more tangible. And it's basically breaking it down into something that is specific, measurable, action oriented, realistic or relevant, and time bound. So let's see, what does that actually mean and how do we go about breaking this acronym? So the first concept is that your goal should be specific, meaning that if you have a really big idea, like a lot of people in the new year, they have new year resolutions, they have all these grand ideas, like they want to look really good or they want to be really in good shape. But the thing is, even though that's a really great idea, it's a bit too vague or it's too abstract, and then that makes it more difficult to bring that into reality. So what you can do is make it specific. For example, if you want to be more fit or in better shape, you could say you want to lose, let's say, uh, 4 to 8 pounds a month. So what you do is you start to make it very condensed, and then that's something that starts to break down this idea into reality. The second concept is your goal measurable, which is connected to what I just mentioned in terms of weight loss, of measuring pounds. So in the world of fitness or nutrition, it's a really helpful concept because all of you can access the gym and go weigh yourself, or maybe you have a scale at home and you can measure yourself in terms of actual pounds of what are you losing each week or each month, and that's going to help you to track your progress and also make sure that your goal is connected to something tangible in your everyday life and in your long-term experience as well. The third aspect is action oriented. So how do we take an idea that we want to bring down into our everyday life and actually start it? The biggest struggle that a lot of people experience is the first few steps, because that's what starts, pushing the ball, so to say. And once that kicks into a more momentum and the ball is rolling, that's easier. But the first few steps are going to be the hardest. So you do want to make sure that there is an action connected to your goal so you become motivated. So, for example, you could say that you have a vision of going to the gym 3 times a week, or you're going to call a friend and go swimming once a week. Something that is going to basically get you out of your mind and out of your house into something that you can practice on a regular basis. And that's something that's also going to prevent you from being discouraged when you have just an idea that stays in your mind, but you're not sure how to implement it, is just creating small steps. Maybe it has to do also with nutrition. Maybe it's going shopping food in different grocery stores that has healthier food. Something that you can look in your everyday life habits and routine and see how that fits in. The fourth aspect is your goal realistic and relevant? So this is also where a lot of people struggle because they might have this really beautiful and great idea for their life, but they're just not sure how to really condense that into short acronyms. So, for example, somebody might say they want to lose 20 pounds a month, and that's just not realistic. And that's actually going to cause more discouragement because you're setting yourself up for failure because you're not sure how your body is going to handle such a thing, and you could actually injure yourself or hurt yourself in the process. So, for example, with weight loss, most trainers or fitness practitioners will suggest to you to lose about 1 to 2 pounds a week. So around 4 to 8 pounds a month. And then that's something that you could say is realistic that your body can handle. And the success with that is that your body's actually going to be able to return the success and not just go backwards into potentially harming your body or injuring it in some way. So the really important thing in your goal setting is that you want to make sure that you're staying healthy and that you keep up with whatever it is that you want for as long as possible. And the fifth aspect of the T in the SMART acronym is time bound. Putting time frames and deadlines is a really helpful way to make sure that your goal actually comes to reality. A lot of the time, we have to make sure, again, with the time frames, is that it's not too tight and it's not too broad, because that's going to create also this sense of lack of accountability. So usually, if you look at the world again, for example, of fitness, you can measure things by weeks and months and years. And that way you can look at your calendar and you can track your progress. Having a calendar is a really, really helpful way to ensure that whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish is also connected to some kind of a external time frame where that can encourage you. But just make sure again that you try to consult at least one person that you trust or that is an expert in the field to make sure that your time frame is really connected to something that is realistic. So let's move on to what are some possible challenges with goal setting? Why is it that most people on January 2nd wake up and they're so excited and they have all these ideas for the year, but then comes, March or April and they're just so discouraged and they're not sure how to keep up. So the first thing is that oh, sorry, one moment. We got mixed up with the slides here. Okay. So some possible challenges is that we have a goal that is measured into too fast, too soon, meaning we have these great ideas. We want to accomplish everything all at once, especially today, in our generation, a lot of us, we're unfortunately impatient because everything is very fast and instant and we want it all and we want it now, but that's not really helpful to achieve something that's long lasting, because especially when you're trying to create a habit and a routine in your life, that's something that takes steps, small steps that create long lasting change. So try to make sure, going back to the idea of, is your goal realistic? Don't go too hard too fast, because that's going to drain your energy and you're not going to be able to sustain that aspect of endurance and longevity. Better to take smaller steps and have a smaller success rate, even though I know that can be discouraging and you might want to see your goal happening right away. We all want our dreams to happen in an instant, but unfortunately, if we push too hard, it's actually going to throw us backwards. The second challenge you might face is no sufficient planning. So you might have really great intentions and you jotted down what you want to do. Let's say you really, really want to change some nutritional habit. Maybe you want to, for example, stop eating sugar, but your everything in your room or in your kitchen is still filled with processed foods, or maybe the grocery stores or corner stores that are around your house are filled with things that are not helpful for your body. That's going to be an issue as well, because you are surrounded by factors that are actually discouraging you from achieving your goal. So take some time to really journal and write down and reflect on what it is that you want to accomplish, because the more planning and visioning and really writing down whatever it is you want to create, it's going to help you to notice areas where there might be barriers or blind spots and how you can cope with them so that you're not overwhelmed when you're faced with those challenges. Third aspect is perfectionism, or being overly ambitious. So ambition is a great quality, and that's part of the reasons why we want to accomplish goal, is because we want better and to improve our lives. But the issue is that if we cross into perfectionism, we actually get discouraged because we might try to create things that are not really for our benefit in the long term. We might get stuck on an idea because it's what everybody else is doing. Maybe it's out of social pressure, maybe it's out of comparison or a sense of trying to fit into a box that you don't really fit in the first place. And that can create perfectionism and too much pressure on yourself. So really try to make sure to be compassionate and kind towards what it is that you want to create, and try as much as possible not to uh, strive for something that is going to not feel enjoyable. So ideally, one way that you can tell if you're crossing into perfectionism is if you're not really enjoying the process and the journey of achieving your goal. If you're going at it too hard and you might be hard on yourself and you start having negative thoughts and maybe you're talking down on yourself, that shows that you're going too strong into something that in the long run should be enjoyable, because that's going to motivate you to keep going. So try to really watch this aspect of your self-talk and your mindset when you're setting your goals. This is kind of similar, but this idea of over comparison. So we all look at each other, and we're social creatures. We draw inspiration and ideas from each other, which is a great thing. But sometimes that can cross into over comparison, where we just want so badly to maybe accomplish something that somebody around us, maybe it's in your classroom or in your university or workplace, but it's not really your own. It's not really your own journey and your own context of your life story. And that can also be challenging, because then you're trying to fit yourself into someone else's life, which we don't know. There's so many other factors that create different achievements that other people have. And it is important to notice that we have our own boundary as individuals and we can draw inspiration from others, but try as much as you can to really stay focused on your own path and don't compare yourself to other people, because that could be discouraging as well. You might go to the gym and see, let's say, everybody else is lifting so much heavier weights, and you might think, oh gosh, why aren't I doing that? But try to really compete only with yourself and who you were, let's say, a month from now or a year ago, and compete with your past version of yourself, not with other people. That's going to help you to stay really motivated on your journey. Another aspect of the challenge that could hinder you from your setting your goals is ideas clashing with physical limitation. So a lot of time what happens is that we use our imagination to create goals. That this is the beautiful thing about ideas and imagining and wanting to vision something for our life. The issue is that if our ideas are unrealistic and they're clashing with physical boundaries, that creates too much pressure and that's going to challenge us. So, for example, with the example of fitness or nutrition, let's say you have a really, really big idea of wanting, I don't know, to compete in some fitness competition, but it's not really fitting with your daily schedule. Maybe you have a job that you need to go to 5 days a week, and you have other commitments like with family and friends and so on. That's not really going to fit in your daily routine. And then you're going to get discouraged because your idea is not fitting in your lifestyle. So try to always think, how's your goal going to fit the greater picture of your life? And, there's nothing wrong, let's say, with wanting to compete. And that's something you're definitely capable of doing. And always remember that your vision is possible to manifest itself into everyday life. But just try to make sure that it fits in your lifestyle so that you can stay on the track towards it. And it might, again, take longer than you think, but it's still better because it's at least going to produce lasting change. And lastly, lack of social support network. So um, we are really, really impacted by the people around us. And it's really important, as much as you can, to surround yourself with people that are going to empower you and support you on your journey toward your goal. And also try as much as you can to limit people that will discourage you. So if we go back to the gym and nutrition aspects, which is something that I think almost every one of us want to be a little healthier or eat better. It's something that's so common, but a lot of time we might not have people that can encourage us, not to go for the comfort food at 9 p.m. at night when you had a long day. So having somebody that you can call to, maybe you can tell one of your friends, hey, this is my goal this month. Can I call you if I'm feeling discouraged? Or maybe it's going with a friend to the grocery store to make sure that you pick the right kinds of food. Have some accountability and some friends or mentors that can help you on your path so that when you do run into those moments of weakness, when you're not exactly at your best self and maybe you're prone to compromise and go back to your goal, this is where you can go and receive some support. And then the social aspect is really, really going to make a big difference in your path. So let's look into some tools to overcome to go barriers to goal setting. Um, the first thing is related to what I mentioned earlier about social network, working with a mentor or accountability partner. So one thing that can really help you out is besides just your friends or family, which they're meaning well and they can help you a lot, but a lot of time our friends and family, they're busy. They have their own life, their own routine, their own goals that they're trying to achieve. And sometimes that can make it difficult to have enough support. So one thing you can do is work with a mentor or accountability partner that is specifically trained in the area that you want to accomplish. So that can be, for example, working with a nutritionist or a fitness trainer, or if you want to learn, let's say, something to do with music, a music teacher, somebody that's related to the field that you're interested in, that has a little bit more experience, more education, more time, more success rate, and they're just a few steps ahead of you, and they can really help you out and they can encourage you when you're walking towards that goal. Second thing is having vision boards and journaling. That's a great tool you can always use for any kind of goal you have in your life, is really just taking time once a day, at least once a week, to write down what it is that you want to create. The more you put words and the written word of your ideas, you take it from your mind into something that's tangible that you can refer to, you can read, you can post it, you can put it on your fridge, in your bedroom, somewhere where you look at it and you see it a lot of the time. Both the written word and vision boards where you print pictures and literally images of yourself, seeing yourself, how you want to look, how you want to feel, images of other people that might be inspiring you. All those aspects are going to be a great tool to start imagining and getting motivation to really step into the future version of yourself. Next is making sure to receive sufficient rest and restoration. So, especially today, again, we're quite busy and we have a lot of things going on, and we don't always get enough rest for what we want to do. Sometimes it's easy to spread ourselves too thin, maybe get a little bit too busy with too many projects. And it's really important to make sure to really watch your daily schedule, making sure you're getting enough sleep, enough rest, spending a lot, especially time in nature, can really help you ground and just relax. Do something that also calms your mind and your body down so that you're able to sustain whatever it is you want to create. Because you have to remember that setting goals and creating something new in your life takes more effort than staying where you're at. This is part of the reasons why most people don't achieve goals, is because it requires effort. It requires extra energy than what you're used to. So the more rest you're going to have, the more energy you're going to have to really dedicate towards your new vision of yourself. Another thing is celebrating past successes while climbing the mountain. So this is really important. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate where you're at and what you already accomplished, because goal setting is about the future, is thinking about where you want to be. But don't forget where you are in the present moment and where you've been in your past, and that is the power of using our mind and our memory and, tools like journaling or talking with your friends and mentors. Ask people around you, how can I celebrate what I've done so far? This is the great thing about having rituals and ceremonies, even micro habits, like, after let's say you have a week where you were able to go to the gym 3 times a week, and that's something that you're really proud of yourself, then do something great for yourself. Maybe treat yourself with a gift, even if it's something small, something that you wanted, so that you can stay motivated and celebrate yourself and notice what you've done so far. And just those little successes is going to remind you, it's just an extra step of motivation while we climb up that high mountain of what we want to accomplish, so that we can really sustain the rhythm and the pace of where we're going towards. And lastly is including short-term rewards to increase motivation. So this goes a little back to the acronym of SMART goals, meaning how do we make sure that we're using time in a way to motivate us? And usually when we have long-term goals, like let's say you want to uh, look at a certain way by the end of the year. For example, right now I'm recording this video in April 2025. And this means that we have about another 8 months left towards the year. And I could say, okay, I want to accomplish a certain amount of things by 2026. But what are the small things that I can put in within those time frames every month, every week, every day, little things. So try to break down whatever big vision you have into smaller pieces that's going to motivate you and really encourage you and inspire you. Because one of the really big aspect emotionally in achieving goals is staying motivated and inspired. And as much as you can, try to create things out of joy, not so much out of pressure, because that's not going to help you to stay motivated, especially in the world of fitness. If there is a workout that you really don't enjoy doing, or you don't have to go to the gym, for example, you can go for runs in the park, you can go swimming. There's something that you can find to be creative, to achieve your goals, that it's not necessarily so limited to one aspect, but at least it's connected to some positive emotion that's really going to help you stay motivated and inspired. Okay, now we're going to move into some of the values of goal setting, and how can we really return back to that notion of emotional and mental well-being in order to keep yourself motivated. So setting clear goals for your life enhances the quality of your life in a number of ways. First of all, it helps you to achieve your dreams and aspirations in a tangible and long-lasting time frame. So this is usually for people, let's say, if we're talking about goals that we want to accomplish, let's say for an entire year, this is going to help you probably around May or June, when you're in the middle of the year and that's usually when we plateau. That's when we start to think, well, I don't know if I have enough energy or enough time or enough motivation to sustain my goal for the rest of the year. So try to remember that really your goals are your dreams that are going to come true, and your aspirations are going to actually take physical form. And that is something that's going to help you stay motivated and encouraged when you want to quit, because that is a natural part of goal setting. Is sometimes you just want to give up and you want to go back to your old life. And I think it is important to be prepared for those moments. And when those moments come, remember why it is that you wanted to accomplish these goals in the first place. Is it really worth it to go back to where you were? Were you really that happy before, or was there something inside of you that wanted to change, that wanted to become better? And that's what inspired you to modify something in your life. And also to remember that those things are going to last. And, a lot of the time, the lifestyle choices we make that are related to instant gratifications, they don't last very long. That chocolate cake, for example, that you want to eat when instead of going to the gym, that's going to feel good for like 5 or 10 minutes, but then that's not going to feel good for the rest of the year. So remembering and reminding yourself the person you want to be and your own greatness, actually, and your own potential, that's really going to help you. Second is increases your self-confidence. A really great way to stay motivated on your journey is to remember that you are going to feel better about yourself and about your life when you set goals. Self-confidence usually stems from repeating the same tasks that you want to accomplish over and over again, and not quitting and not giving up to your old self or to your old habits, and just staying consistent. It's going to help you so much because you're going to feel better about yourself, about your life, about your surroundings, your purpose, your meaning in the world. So it is really quite worth it to just stay with those moments, even though it is uncomfortable, but it's worth it in the long run. Uh, Third, the value of goal setting is that it gives you a sense of purpose and meaning in life. So, a lot of the time, there's sayings that we might think are cliches, but it is true that everything worthwhile in life takes hard work. And when we choose the easy path or we do something that's we know is not really that meaningful, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't give us that rewarding sense that we are doing something important in the world. And part of human experience and one of our basic needs is actually the need to feel that we're contributing, that we're doing something special and important in life, not just for ourselves, but for the people around us. And remember that your goals, they're going to probably inspire other people, not just yourself. If we take the example of health and nutrition and fitness, the people around you are probably going to get very inspired by you following your dreams because they might think, well, if they can go to the gym 3 times a week, I can too, or if they watch you modify your diet and eat better, they're probably going to get inspired as well. And that's going to give you also that sense of purpose and meaning because when you stay healthy and you stay true to your goals and your dreams, other people are going to notice that and they're going to probably follow some of your steps as well. And that's going to give you a great sense of reward of doing something that is also helping the people around you. And in the long run, it's just a great feeling. I'm sure you've had that in the past where you watch somebody transform their life and do something really difficult and you realize that by them following that, you can do that too. And that's a great inspiration. And lastly, we're going to look into enhancing our sense of contribution and connection to our community and our environment. So part of the value of goal setting, which is related to also that sense of purpose and meaning, is really the ability to think in the greater context of how our life is connected to the greater whole. So because we don't live in a vacuum and we are always interacting with other people in our environment and with our family at work and in school in the road wherever you are, we're always watching each other and interacting with one another as human beings. And the more you're part of a goal that is meaningful and important and sets you on a healthier track, it's going to also connect you to your community. For example, a lot of people, when they decide to improve their life and set goals, they get to meet new people. They get to expand their social network in many great ways. So, for example, if you start going to the gym, you have a gym community. Maybe you start joining into like a running club or people who train for different kinds of marathons. All of a sudden, it's like a new world opens up to them because they realize that there's all these activities and cool experiences that you can do that are related to your community as well. And then you realize, oh, wow, there's other people that are trying to accomplish this very similar thing. And you create different like habits and meetups and competitions or ceremonies around it, and you basically start to feel like you are part of something greater than yourself. And that's a really great way to connect with your community and open your horizons. You realize that there's so many other activities that are going on that were always there, but you were just not aware of them until you started to set your goals for the year. So that's a great way also because it's going to expand your social network. It's going to increase or create new friendships, new network that could lead to different things like job development or your development in education. You just never know. There's so many possibilities when you meet new people that are going on that higher track of creating the best lives that they can. So we're going to reach to a close here with some resources from film and authors that are speaking about the idea of goal setting that can inspire you a little bit on your way. There's so much great information out there that can inspire you from YouTube videos, audiobooks, movies, documentaries. So many great people that are accomplishing amazing things every single day. And this is just a small example of some of those things. So One book that's very common is called Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. It's a book that's been around for a while. Sometimes they have different additions to it, but it's just a great way to review some ideas of habits and attitudes, approaches, different mindsets of people that are really successful. Really great way to just learn and improve yourself and learn from authors that were able to accomplish great things and understand how are they thinking, what are they doing, how are they approaching life in a way that is going to make a difference in yours as well. The second book is called Atomic Habits, Tiny Changes That Make Remarkable Results. And that really goes also into that concept we talked earlier about making sure that your goals are realistic and broken down into smaller, short-term goals, because the more we can create these micro habits, it's the little things that we do every single day that we might not notice, but they do make a big difference. And one saying that I really love and that helped me a lot in my life is just trying to improve 1% every day. Just be 1% better than who you were yesterday. And it might sound insignificant or so small, but that 1% and those micro habits, they grow and they do pile up. And eventually by the end of the year, you just improved and 365%. And that is better than pushing too hard and then quitting midways. So great book, Atomic Habits. Look into different ways to build good habits and also breaking down habits that are not supporting you any longer in your life. Um, then we have a movie called The Pursuit of Happiness. It's an older movie. I don't know if any of you seen it, but every once in a while I like to watch that film with Will Smith. It shows the story of a person that really struggled a lot in, starting and building the life of his dreams, all the many challenges and barriers that he encountered on the way. And I just found it to be so inspiring because they really go so deeply into the very practical and realistic issues that we all face in life, that it's not easy. Setting goals and creating the life of your dreams, it is challenging. And I think it's important that we remember that we are realistic about it, but we don't get discouraged. And films is a really great way to keep you motivated and remember that you're not the first person who tried to accomplish a specific dream in your field. There's somebody else who's done it before, and that's a great motivation to know that you can do it too. So I would recommend watching this film. And another movie is called Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, which is kind of more on the comedy side of things, of just a woman that is also a little bit discouraged and complacent in her life. She's not sure how to move forward. She's a little stuck. And it's just more like a humorous, lighthearted way to bring you some joy and humor. It's really important as much as you can to bring comedy into your life, especially when you try to create goals, because that is in many ways can be like a very serious topic that makes us very sometimes unfortunately rigid or stressed out. So if you can watch some comedies and good films that also remind you that there's many surprises on the way, and you can also bring a laugh and comedy into your goal setting, it's going to keep you going. So, thank you so much. I really wish you all the best with whatever it is you want to accomplish. If you have any comments, if you want to share things you have already accomplished or that you want to set by the end of the year, feel free to contact me through Ness or one of the workshop facilitators, or also through my website in the bottom of the slides, wayoflife.earth. I'm more than happy to hear how's your progress and encourage you. And if you have other requests for future topics, let me know as well, and we can move forward. So, wishing you all the best and take care.